Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. I want to make sure my levels are good. I think we're good here. Okay. Um, as you guys are coming in, appreciate you hitting the like button. Even if you're OU fan and you want to use this as your celebration space. For those of us who are Texas fans here, obviously not the result we wanted, not what we expected this morning as OU defeats Texas, a classic game, thrilling game, 34-30 in the Cotton Bowl. OU scoring with 15 seconds left as Dylan Gabriel marches his team down the field. Texas took a 30-27 lead, and we gave it up at the end in a crucial moment. So tough scenario. Tough scenario. Um, we're going to talk about it and diagnose everything here, and kind of share my thoughts and collectively process everything that's going on. I think a lot of people are still obviously whether you were on the winning side of this, you're processing. If you're on the losing side of this, you're processing. But yeah, no, Ashley Larry, it's always horns up. It's always horns up. Absolutely, absolutely. Um, and look, there's a lot of positives I want to talk about that I saw out there today too. It's a full breakdown scenario. But first and foremost, Um, congratulations again to Oklahoma. I have nothing but respect and as I tweeted, this is just my opinion. Brett Venables, that staff, that roster, both these teams coming in at 5-0. OU wanted this game more than Texas. They were willing to die out there for this game. They played with immense passion, and that passion translated many times, in my opinion, into physicality. And there were some things that I didn't expect that I saw in a positive from an OU standpoint in terms of their level of physicality. Unbelievable job, unbelievable job. And so I give them nothing but positives. Hey Quinn, I might tag you in a little bit here, man. Let me cook for a little bit, man. This is my show, and I got some thoughts I want to get off and talk to you guys. I'll shoot you a link. I appreciate you, brother. And if I shoot you a link, be ready. But right now, just let me process because I'm processing real time as well. But appreciate you. Let me email you something right now in a little bit. Um, no, but anyway, yeah, let me cook for a little bit. I I am I was impressed with Dylan Gabriel. I know, look, any receipt you want to pull, I'm here. I'm 10 toes down. I'm not going anywhere. And I'm still really high on this Texas football team. Any receipt you want to pull on me, any of the things I said, go ahead. It's free game, it's fair game. If I was talking it, I gotta live in it, I gotta stand in it. That's how I was raised as a man. And it's just sports. At the end of the day, it's sports. That's the fun part about it. So if you're a fan out here thinking, oh, I shouldn't have talked so much trash, or that's what the rivalry is all about. That's what the rivalry is all about. And the next time we link up, whenever that is, we're gonna talk again. Like that's what it is. But for right now, as we stand here on October 7th, taking this L, I gotta own it. So I'm gonna stand I said Dylan Gabriel has a noodle arm. I said I had questions about his ability in a big game, and you know what? He answered every question. Same way I've asked questions about sometimes players on Texas. Dylan Gabriel stood in the pocket several different times in this football game under pressure, pressure in his face, pressure in his lap, and made big time throws, got the ball to his playmakers. OU physically, now you could talk about the officiating and whether it was holding and all these things. I thought the physicality of their receivers, a lot of people were talking about the speed of the receivers and us getting beat over the top. But really what was the bigger killer for Texas today was the physicality of the OU receivers, guys like Farouk, guys like Nick Anderson, who were extremely physical, not just yards after catch or running with the football, but also in the screen game. And I'm saying that because we have problems blocking in the screen game on our side with our pass catchers. So those are some things I would like to see improved. Um, Let me make sure I'm not missing some of these. Yeah, I know. All we needed was a stop. That's football. I'll get to the goal line stand and all that. But look, anybody coming in here, that's the rivalry. It's funny because we have less stress scoring from far away than we do from the 1 yard line. But that's another thing. So Livingston said we'll see them again in December. It's hard to beat the same team twice. I didn't see anything from OU that Texas can't find a way to overcome. You know, it's funny. My friend Texas Homer tweeted this before the game and literally said whoever wins or whoever loses is literally going to start talking about Arlington because that's what happens. And so while I appreciate the donation and it's here, and like that's what we always say as Texas fans. We say that every time. We said that 2 years ago in 2021. I literally was on YouTube. 2021, we had lost the epic comeback with Caleb, and I was like, oh, we'll see him again in Arlington. We're the two best teams in the Big 12. In my opinion, it's the same thing. If anybody that watched College Game Day this morning, if you heard Quinn Ewers, he said the important thing for Texas football is to live in the moment. Because if you know, where your feet are, living in the moment and living where your feet are. Because if you start worrying about the future, you start thinking about the future too much, it'll cause too much anxiety and not allow you to enjoy the present. I thought that was a bar, but for life too. But when we're thinking about this, I'm not trying to hear about Arlington right now. What I'm trying to fix is the amount of times we beat ourselves yet again in this football game, the amount of times we have execution issues, pre-snap issues, not being buttoned up, that a lot of you, not yeah, a lot of you were mad and saying I was being too harsh on Texas and not giving them their credit and wanting me and Tran to blow more smoke up their ass when we knew they were having execution problems earlier in these games, even the Bama game. So what I'm interested in right now is not talking about Arlington. I do not care about Arlington right now. What I care about is fixing and cleaning this shit up during the bye week and beating Houston when we come out of it. We are not, when you come out and somebody stops you at the 1 yard line 4 straight times, to me, you don't have the right, you're not good enough to talk about those things. We're not good enough to talk about those things right now. I'm high on this team. And I believe if they can stay focused and lock in and learn from this, yes, those things will be there for them down the road and hopefully in December. But for right now, after this loss, yes, OU took it to them. I thought Brent Venables outcoached Steve Sarkisian today, and I'll give examples of where I saw it. But when we're talking about looking at our own selves and taking accountability, this isn't something just to brush off. We were literally in a situation where we were trying to steal a football game at the end of that game. We were trying to steal that game because OU played a better game. They played a cleaner game. They were more consistent from the beginning of the football game. We came out and look, I get when you got beat the way they got beat last year, and that's something they've had on the wall in their building since then, and trying to get it back. And this is what's going to supercharge us. This is our first test. A lot of people not believing in OU for the schedule that they played. And we're coming in, we're feeling like we're battle tested. We know we're tough. We know how to finish. But there's too much of that laissez-faire earlier in the game. We just let those things slide. How many things do you just let slide? How many mistakes do you just – it seemed like every single big play we had, we would come back and have a pre-snap penalty. False start. And I get our center went down. I get Jalen Catalan went down. There was the Ryan Watts. I get that. They had people go down. Gentry Williams went down their side. They had people go down their side too. They lost their senior guard. Both sides. But this is stuff we've been talking about since the Rice game, y'all, in terms of some of the basic execution stuff. We can't talk about that right now because there's so much we have to clean up. I'm going to get to the positives. There's positives for Texas out of this game. I know the team has heart. I know they are mentally tough. I know there's some bomb ass freshmen, especially on that defense, that played their ass off today and showed the hell out on a big stage. I like the way my quarterback looked in the second half, personally. I know I have a potential Doak Walker winning running back. And yeah, I said it. He's that good. He showed the world that today in every facet of the game. 24 was probably our best overall player today on Texas. I know we have guys that can go and block punts and make big plays. I know I got receivers like Worthy and Mitchell and all those guys, but we can't sit here and act as though football is just one with talent and that, and we can just and yeah, some of the games we can, but when you face competition like this and a team that's hungry and hunting for you, and Texas knows that OU was hunting them. You have to be better. There were also things today I thought exposed Texas, where it's like, hey, we still have a ways to go in some areas of even building our roster out. I'm gonna talk about that as well. Let me check out the comments here. Jake Majors was missed, absolutely, um, and you noticed it with certain things, but no excuses, man. I mean, Jake, Connor Robertson, you do what you can to help the guy out, and I think they did as best they could with that situation. You still got to play football, and you're gonna, especially in a battle like this. I always say when two elite teams play each other, it becomes a war, and you're gonna lose people because they're playing too fast, they're playing too hard, they're playing too turn. I mean, some of the execution things were just because guys were too turn. OU ran a reverse when we had some bogus excessive celebration call after a touchdown, after the first touchdown. OU counters smartly and runs a reverse to Petaway, but the return man does a forward pass. That's an execution problem. Great play call by the staff, but the kids are so excited. They're so turned. It's the Cotton Bowl. All that energy in the thing that they slip up with execution. But they didn't have as many of those moments, those bonehead moments, as Texas does. And we've been having those things happen to us repeatedly throughout the season. And it's frustrating. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you. No, the officiating wasn't great, but I'm not going to sit here and to me that's the officiating wasn't great. But I'm sure, OU fans have some calls they were sitting on to where we got a break where, nah, we're gonna own this today. If we want to go back later on, we got a bye week coming up, so we got a lot of time to talk about it. But JB, it's funny, JB's here in the comments, and he actually said this before the game in terms of, well, what happens when Texas plays their A game? We still have not seen Texas play their A game. We have not seen Texas play clean football for a sustained 4 quarters. We have not. We have not. They flip a switch. And it's kind of crazy because one side of me can look at this and say, we played really poorly in so many facets, and yet we were here with the lead at the end of the game with 122 to go. That's how good they are, talent wise. The fact that they can make all those mistakes, the fact that we can come out, Quinn Ewers coming out throwing picks, guys are missing tackles, guys are blowing assignments, guys are committing pre-snap penalties. The coaches are doing goofy stuff. We can do all that and still be down 2 scores, but with how good this team is, they can still flip a switch and get the lead back. Not just come down from 10, but come back and actually take the lead. But that's not championship football. That's not it. Like people are talking about, oh, if Texas wins this game, and it's dominant or it comes out, maybe they could be the number one team. Listen, if you're the number one team, if you're a playoff team, you score from the 1 yard line. At some point, it's about will, it's about leverage. And we can talk about the play calling at the 1 yard line, but when you're bringing in multiple defensive linemen after Jordan Whittington gets tackled at the 1 yard line, Oklahoma wanted it more than you. We those are grown man drills. Those are drills. Everybody's been in those drills if you've ever played football, whether it's inside drill, Oklahoma drill, the whole thing. It's no longer about trying to trick your opponent or anything like that. And it's interesting too because Texas clearly has an issue there and a challenge there because a lot of their success moving the ball in short yardage scenarios, we have to resort to wildcat packages with Savion Red. We have to resort to fake punt. We have to do a lot of these things because we are having trouble in those scenarios. We can run the football out in the open when we're zoning stuff up and we can get Jonathan running lanes. We'll cook there, and we did today. And OU learned a lot about Jonathan Brooks today because a lot of them were saying, "Oh, he's not Bijan," blah blah blah. Now he balled out today, but in those moments where it's grown man versus grown man, and the fact that not only do backup center or not, when we're under center, we're not, for whatever reason, we can't do QB sneaks. We tried to do one in Alabama, we almost fumbled the ball. We did fumble the ball. But in those moments, so I'm looking at the staff and saying, okay, once we tried it a couple times, get me in that Savion Red package. Let me get the extra blocker. Let me get the extra blocker with Savion Red and somebody who's used to just fighting for their right to party regardless, and let's rock. If that's how I got to get in the end zone, that's how I got to get in the end zone. But a lot of this cute shit that we're having to run because Sark forgets sometimes about his offensive line and we're doing jet sweep to the boundary and screwing up 3rd and goal. That's why you have bad red zone offense, Texas. Use these packages. If it's 2nd and goal from the 5, go to the red package. Screw it. Use the extra blocker. At least get the points. We can get to the prevent defense, guys. There's so many comments in here, so apologize because I'm trying to talk. I'm a one-man band right now, all right? Because I'm reading the comments, I'm going through the super chat, I'm trying to gather my thoughts. I'm upset we lost, and I'm trying to talk to y'all. So it's a lot going on, so I appreciate it. So while I'm doing all those things, if you could do me a favor and hit the like button, I'm trying to process this with y'all. Quentin, be on standby because I think I'm gonna bring you in here. I want to talk to somebody. Jacob Woodyard, thank you for the super chat. Past Texas teams fold in a game like this, in my opinion. I like the way they fought injuries and all. Absolutely. Thank you for that. Absolutely. I'm not ashamed of Texas today. I'm frustrated that they lost. Um, we didn't back up our talk in certain things, especially when we talked about dominating the line of scrimmage. I didn't. I was very very disappointed with our play in the trenches. I thought our defensive line, in terms of our D tackles, Tavondre Sweat was Tavondre Sweat today. Byron Murphy, the interior guys, I thought did their thing to the degree, especially that Oklahoma offensive line is not weak. That's not a weak point at all. There's some good players there. I will say this: Colin Simmons can't get here soon enough because the OU fans that were talking about Texas's issues on the edge, that was exposed today because they couldn't finish in the backfield when they had opportunities. There was too many times where our ends got swallowed or got upfield or weren't able to just finish, and the quarterback gets away. We didn't get good edge play today. We didn't get good edge play even on some of their vertical stuff. We really struggled to keep contained. It's just the truth. And I say that about Colin Simmons because Anthony Hill was my best player at the second level, and Derek Williams and Manny Muhammad were arguably my best players at the third level, and they're freshmen. But their talent in these type of games, with the way this game is being played, their talent really kind of shone through in terms of what we needed. But we didn't have that person on the edge at Texas. So Colin Simmons, you can't get here soon enough, brother. Robert Lane said Boomer Sooner. Thank you for the chili. Thank you. No, I need it to be all of us. We have to be humble. No, that's part of life. It's sports too, but it's part of life. Nope, I gotta own that. Gotta own that. They played a hell of a game. Dylan Gabriel's excellent football player. Danny Stutzman showed out today, and unfortunately, I love Jalen Ford, and Jalen Ford will be back and rebound from this. He didn't play good football today. Period. It's not good for. That's not. Jalen Ford is an All-American level player. I know what he's capable of. He didn't play good football today, and today was a bad day not to have a good day. And the OU guys, the way Stutzman shoots, was able to shoot some of the gaps and whatnot. I'm gonna get to Quinn in a little bit. I'm gonna isolate Quinn. Uh, yeah, it's. I was talking about it all season. Yet, if you look at the comments after the games, and I get it. We're fans. Where people are drinking, people are excited, the whole bit. And saying, why am I not giving them more credit? Or why are you guys being so negative after we just won a game by 3 touchdowns? And I'm like, y'all, I can see this stuff coming down the road. It's not about beating this other person, it's about executing for what's coming. This is why I never buy the whole vanilla stuff, because at the end of the day, do you guys understand all vanilla means is you're running your base offense, which is still designed to score, which is still designed to move the ball, just without certain layers and elements that are installed for that particular opponent that week. And sometimes you may show additional beaters for additional coverages that give you problems, yes, but vanilla is still 60 to 70% of what you normally do. And my issue was 60% to 60 to 70% what we normally do, we were still having hiccups. So today, when we need to run inside zone, and we don't need it, we need to run those plays. We're seeing the same, and it's little things. AD Mitchell turning upfield too early, and we snap the ball. It's a legal motion, right? We could call, you know, certain formation things where it's like, oh, we have to use a timeout because we didn't get communication to the other side for blocking assignment for a play we run every week to that bubble screen to the field that we run literally every week, and it got screwed up. No, oh, you have some dogs. Oh, you have some dogs. Wow. Big super chat. Is this Sam Wright said, wow, love the Sooners, but I also love this pod. Such classy, honest feedback. Listen every week. This and the Oklahoma breakdown. Great game and rivalry. Texas is back. See you in Jerry World. Thank you, Sam Wright, and congrats to your Sooners. Congrats. Y'all have a real freaking ball club. Hey, y'all have a path. Y'all have a path to get to where you want to go. I want to give credit to Jeff Lebby in his matchup versus PK. I thought he did a great job. Something I didn't see as much from him last year at OU was the variance in his tempo. I thought he did a great job. And I think this is also credit to Brett Venables of managing the clock. So Brett Venables made a comment and said the most important parts of the game, first 4 minutes, last 4 minutes a half, last 4 minutes of the ball game, right? First 4 minutes coming out, third quarter. It felt like OU won all of those situational points. And this is something we've talked about with Sark for 3 years is situational football. We've gotten stronger in those areas. We're a better finishing team. We have got so I'm not here to say that we have not improved in those areas under Steve Sarkisian. That would be a lie. We have. However, if you look at the situation, it's a tie ball game right before halftime. I believe it's 17-7, 17-17 or 17, whatever the score was. And Texas is there, and we end up having to kick a field goal because that's when we run the jet sweep. Sark has 2 goals there. He's trying to A, score a touchdown, number one, score a touchdown, and B, try to run that clock and get some of those timeouts out of Brett Venables so they don't have much time to double up, knowing he's going to get the ball at halftime. Brett Venables' goal is hold Texas to a field goal. Let me see if my offense can get points before the half, and then double up when we get the ball back. And damn it, he did all 3. That's situational football. And those points come back at the end, hence 34-30. So everything adds up. But y'all have a hell of a ball club. Y'all won on the line of scrimmage where I didn't think y'all could, and y'all did it. And honestly, MVP Dylan Gabriel. I mean, he ran it, threw it to rush for over 100 yards, to step off on our defense. That's not easy, bro. Who am I to sit here and talk trash about anything after he did it? So nothing but respect in that regard. This needs to be a point in recruiting, in my opinion. We need to look them edges. We need some more dogs on the edge, in my opinion. I'm not saying we don't have any, but I'm saying we need more. And to me, look, Cedric Baxter's just not healthy right now. And I don't understand how Jaden Blue, this is just my personal opinion, with the way we were running the ball, we needed a little bit more sharper burst and just getting through those lanes. That's what Jaden Blue's good at. So I don't understand why he doesn't get an opportunity. Let Baxter rest. We got a bye week coming up. He's limping on and off the field. It's a lot on his body's just not healthy right now. So that drop off when Brooks is not in the game was, I thought, hurting the team, in my opinion. It's not to say that he's obviously a really, really good, young, talented back. Young, talented back. But that to me was not, to me, in my opinion, the staff didn't put us in the best position to win by making some of those personnel decisions, in my opinion. I'm just saying that as a fan. I agree. I did not like the clock management on the last drive when we decided to kick a field goal. It felt like we were playing for a field goal instead of playing. The best security you have in that situation is to score a touchdown or to run the whole clock out. We did neither. And then that's why I'm saying, who wants it more? Appreciate y'all sticking with me. Rachel, congrats to your Sooners. Congrats to your Sooners. They wanted it. This was something where from the beginning of the game. Also, credit to OU for taking our counter punches. When we countered, we scored. Shoot, all that bad stuff happened with Quinn early in the game. Then we get the punt. We took the lead. I think we go up, 10-7 or something like that. What did we go up? Let me pull up the box score because I don't need to freaking recall this off the top of my head. Let me pull this up. Let's see the scoring. So we go up, what was it, 10-7? Oh, OU went up 10. We went up 14-10. My bad. We went up 14-10 when Gunnar Helm scored the touchdown on 4th and goal. That's where I wanted to go. Gunnar Helm scored the touchdown on 4th and goal. Great beater by Sark. Great play call. Whole bit. Sark had some stuff in this game where I'm like, oh, he's still there. My guy's still there. Had some beaters for OU. But I will give OU credit. They answered right back and got a touchdown. They answered right back and got a touchdown and ran it in. And it was a gritty drive. That drive where Dylan Gabriel stood in the pocket. I think he hit like a deep out to Farouk. He had to run for another first down. He had a slant, I think, to Stoops. That was when I was like, wow, they took a punch. A lot of teams would have lost momentum there. OU didn't. Finished the half strong. So, credit where credit is due. We get caught up on these comments and then I'll I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Hey. Um, yeah. I love my squad as much as you love yours. This sucks. Congrats on the game. Yeah. Sucks. How do you guys feel about that last sequence? Do we go out and play ball there? Sark obviously decided to run the football and get the 3 with Burt, which again, we were worried about field goal kicking coming into this game, by the way. So Burt made some big kicks and and converted it. I think part of Sark was also thinking, I don't want Quinn to get sacked and we lose our field goal attempt. I think he's thinking we're gonna second guess that all day long, but at the end of the day, coming into this game, many of us were saying the strength of our team is defense. And if the strength of your team is defense and you go up 30-27 and you're saying, hey, defense, stop them. Worst case scenario, give up a field goal, but you cannot let them go down and score a touchdown. Again, you're going to play woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? Especially when things didn't go your way. Was it too conservative a call? If he had gotten too aggressive and gone for it, and then it's a tie game, and they get the ball. Here's the thing about OU that you guys have to understand. When they get down in that area of the field, the reason why they're so good with their red zone defense and even from the 40s in, they cause a negative play before 3rd down. Whether it's 1st or 2nd down, OU will either get a sack or a significant tackle for loss to screw you up because they know it is really freaking hard to convert 3rd and 10s and 3rd and 9s against all that coverage. And so the quarterback's often having to pull the ball down, run, blah, blah, blah. That's how they're winning. That's why their rates are so successful. Go back and watch this game. They will cause a negative play. We will be rolling, and then 2nd and 6 or whatever will turn into 3rd and 15 or whatever. Or 1st down will turn into 2nd and 25. How many times did we get into those scenarios today? Some of it was from penalties, yes. But a lot of it was, Terry would come in and get a sack. Somebody's getting a tackle in the backfield off of even after we had a positive win on 1st down, excuse me. Yeah, but we got to own this loss. Can all just agree? No, I think both teams are really, really good. But when you're a good team, you're not comfortable with losing ever, right? And when you're the team that won, it's easier to say that. So right now, while it's true, Texas fans aren't really trying to hear that. We're frustrated, right? Not trying to hear that. Joey, thank you for the super chat. I need to jump through this. Erdogan told the team to weather the storm. Weather the storm. It's a weak mindset. Oh, you was looking at not. Our mindset was to take punches. No, that's a good point. That's a good point. Um, I don't think we came out there with the same level of we're trying to get payback. We were definitely playing off our back foot. If it was boxing, we were fighting off the ropes, right? Now, because we're a very gifted fighter ourselves, we're able to land a ton of shots off the ropes as we were countering a very aggressive opponent. But we didn't. I don't think we were as buttoned up, as sharp, and as crisp as we needed to be on our punches. Just using the boxing analogy, and I don't think we made all of the correct adjustments throughout the 12 rounds of the fight to come out with the. And they went for a knockout. We were going for a decision. We were trying to win on the cards, and OU said no. We're going for a stoppage, and that's what they did. Dylan Gabriel was going for a stoppage, and look, we have to talk about some of these plays that if you're again a great football team, you can't allow these things to happen. I love Bug. I love Bug Thompson. And games like that, all the things that are going on, you did the hard part by tricking the quarterback. I need you to catch the football. And it looked like he may have had a lane to get, I don't know if Bug's fast enough to have gone 110 yards for a touchdown the other way, but the way that the field looked like, he would have had a lot of room. Maybe he was peeking down the field, but those are big ones, right? Where instead of us getting a takeaway in the red zone, boom, we allow Dylan Gabriel to get away with that, and OU's able to kick a field goal. OU didn't give us. They didn't drop Quinn's bad decisions. When Quinn threw it to the wrong, literally just hit the wrong slant, the first drive of the game, where if he just holds instead of double clutches because he was unsure, maybe some nerves in there too to start this thing. But obviously, Worthy's clearing to the field. Worthy's wide open, like a half a second later. And if he's reading that correctly, he should anticipate that he's clearing to the field and he has grass. It wasn't a bad play call, bad execution. But my point is, OU made us pay for that. When they make mistakes, ball falls. Y'all want to talk about PK? I see a lot of stuff in here talking about PK, so let me try to get to it. Okay, so now that I'm caught up here, y'all are gonna see. I'm gonna try to get Quentin in here. Quentin, coming your way, buddy. All right, I just emailed you the link, so coming your way. Yeah, so we have a bye week next week. That's something I was talking about at the beginning of this stream that I wanted to. That's why I'm not trying to hear the Arlington stuff right now. We have to get better as a team. We have to get better as a team. For like we're talking about Arlington like we've earned that right to be there when we haven't been there since 2018. We got to get better as a team. We got to figure out how we can play more aggressively in those situations so that the coaches, like PK, for whatever reason, they against that type of offense, which is interesting, knowing they're trying to get revved up for with that mirror and shoot and get going. I think it's interesting that he came out and played that type of shell prevent coverage and not attacking. And why? I'm sure they'll answer some of those questions. That's tough. That's tough. All right, I'm getting Quentin on here. What's good, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, boss.
How you doing, man?
I'm good,
Talk to
bro.
me.
I'm good. Man, I don't know if you know, but I live in Oklahoma, so I'm getting it tough. As soon as that last play, my Facebook blew up, my text messages blew up. I got notes on my truck outside. But man, I think I'm probably a little bit more hopeful than most. Like, well, I'm a football guy. I play football. I play a little bit of football, and I can see our deficiencies, man. But I would venture that's our floor. We can't play any worse than that. That's the worst we can play football, and they were only 4 points better than us. It took a whole lot. 4 turnovers. We should have got our butts kicked. We should have lost about 3 or 4 scores. And the bad stuff, man. I think most of the where we lost was on effort. Man, we don't AD don't do nothing, bro. His effort plays be like, God, like even on that pick, if you don't let that dude get inside of you, the bad throw is fine.
Sure, sure. It's just an
But
incompletion.
yeah, it's just an incompletion. You bat it down, but man, it's nothing that's fixable. I agree with what you said. Like a lot of the things that happen against lesser opponents, we can't do that against the OU. I agree because it looked exactly like every other game. It looked like we hang around and hang around. It was close. We kind of would score all of our points in the second half, and it looked the same. But just OU was too good. And they weren't having it. They weren't having it.
Kaysen, thank you for the super chat here. I appreciate it. And Quentin Jacob sent one for you too, a little $5 joint just to show some appreciation. I want to address what some of what Kaysen has here, since he sent a nice little one for us. But and a lot of what Quentin just said, right? Played our worst game of the season, still within some of those things. Here's my frustration though. Like you just said, we have seen these issues all 5 games, now 6 games. At what point do you clean some of this stuff up? At what point do you start to see, like the way we've seen them improve in their run blocking? The run game to me is better than what it was earlier in the season. I can tell they've improved. There's certain elements on the team where I'm looking at, I'm like, okay, from day one to now, they've improved. Execution wise, just and I'm talking about the little just elementary things, because football is so much a series of little things that you know have some sort of impact in the outcome. I think it's frustrating that it just doesn't feel clean, especially in the red zone, or as Sark says, the red area. At what point, like my buddy Homer is just like, yo, it's 6 games in. You are who you are. And is that who Texas is?
It's man, it's play calling, man. Like a lot of this came down to play calling. Like whether it's Sark getting cute and putting defensive linemen, and it didn't work. It didn't even begin to work with them two dudes in the backfield. They was shooting the gap backside. He was the dude making the play. And then PK, man, did we blitz today?
I mean, we blitzed Jade a few times, and there's one where, and that's where I say the edges are a little bit of a challenge,
I
because you
agree.
notice
I
like
agree.
Jade has to cut so far inside, then he can't reroute when DG takes off to
Yep.
get back. Like you're asking him now to cover half of that side.
Backfield. Yep. Yep. And then Jalen, man, he got an F. He got a F minus today. Like even before DG stuck him in the dirt, I was just like he wasn't attacking. He was just like letting like defender or offensive players come to him and like hugging him and falling. I'm like, man, I ain't never seen him play like that ever.
No, that was a for Jalen. That was to me probably is the worst ball I've seen him play since he was a young player.
Yeah,
I think the timing of him having a game like this is
it's
unfortunate
horrible.
with the streak that he's been on consistently as a leader, as a captain. You know, he's a captain. He's an all American level player. And we should expect like so. The criticism for him again. I think you and I are grading Jalen on a higher
Higher level.
level. Like we want him, we expect him to look like Stutzman looks on the other side out
That
there flying around. We expect him to look like Anthony Hill looked, right? Anthony Hill looked dominant.
he was on that
Anthony Hill
44-yard
looked
play,
dominant.
on that 44-yard run, it was Jalen had him. And he said, 44
Yeah.
yards out the gate. And he was right there and he just waited on him and he left him in his dust. But man, you gotta give shout out to these young players, man. They held their own.
How'd you feel about Manny? Let's start with Manny. Manny has to, you know, he's coming in there, getting some snaps in place of Ryan Watts, who was missed today,
Yes,
folks.
in run support, he was missed. And them big body receivers and making tackles downfield, he was missed. I didn't think he was gonna miss him because I think he's slow and he was probably successful more to the deep ball than anybody. But he's fine. Manny's good. He held his own. You didn't really even hear his name. It was number 8 that was screwing around. It was the other side. It was Brooks and old buddy from where he went to Vanderbilt, Wake
Oh, Gabe
Forest.
Holmes. No, from Wake Forest.
Yeah, it
Gabe,
was them two that was
I
screwing
think Gabe's been
around.
struggling this year a little bit. I haven't seen the all honorable ACC type play that from him. Here's where I think Watts hurt us. I think you're right in terms of run fits and just the reliability he's going to be there. I think here's the other thing too. There was so much being made before in the lead up to this game of the safeties and the shots that OU takes and trying to exploit all these things. When in reality, when you look at the percentages of how they run their offense, a lot of it is underneath, a lot
Yeah,
of it is intermediate, a lot of it is that physicality with Farouk. Watts can deal with Farouk better than a lot of other guys can.
I agree.
I'm just saying in terms of hands-on man being able to run. Farouk was physical. Nick Anderson is physical. Okay, so while everybody's thinking about, yeah, I don't want Ryan Watts and Andrew Anthony running on a foot race downfield. No, okay, but the reality is Terrence Brooks was probably going to have that assignment, and if they had that, they were going to have safety play over the top to protect them. I think we focused too much on that, and we didn't emphasize the tendencies enough of what Dylan Gabriel actually does and how he plays football, where he's throwing where he's throwing it out to, and that's a little unfortunate
There's
for how this game played out.
a super chat. I'll let you read that before I talk.
Robert said, "Stop it, Quinn. You're the worst."
Man, look, like all my Sooner fans, like I said, I live in Oklahoma. They know I'm gonna run my mouth, win, lose, or draw, and my energy is gonna be exactly the same. Um, it took a whole lot. Like I'm sorry, it took like us playing like we always play. Aside from that, it took a whole lot to come in plays for that to happen. 'Cause I'm gonna tell you right now, if Catalan plays that whole game, DG's not doing none of that. Say
That was
what you want,
that.
he's not. It is what it is. I'm hopeful, man. I'm ready to just. I hope it hurts. I hope they crying. I hope it's burning in their bellies, and they can't wait to get back on the field.
How would you have handled that? So let's talk situational ball. Sark and that offense, they get into it. That last drive is 27 up. We cross midfield. Now everybody and their mom is thinking about the clock. We're not just thinking, hey, we can score and take the lead, but we're also thinking about the clock.
He
Take
was
me from there
full.
because
He was full speed ahead. Even the commentators was like, "All right, Sark's gonna slow it down." Before I was like, "We snapping the ball with 25 seconds left." It was he was you right, man. I think when the pressure's on Sark, he calls his worst game because that Bama game, we had no pressure on us, and that was his best play calling game was Bama. No pressure, he was just dialing it up. But this game, he gets so tight when the pressure's on us, and it don't work out. It don't work out at all. But like
Hey,
I said we were gonna. I said 10-2. I thought we would lose to Bama, and I said that we would lose to OU, but I said 10-2.
so John, look, I said I had a question about DG in big games. I had a question about him. He responded. I'm not going to sit here and make excuses again. There were certain things where I don't think we played our best ball for sure, but I'm not. Absolutely, you can hang your head on that all day long. Um, Congrats, you got the dub. GG.
I watched a lot of OU's previous games, previous to coming in here, and we got him off of what he wanted to do because usually OU's like catch throw. Like most of his passing yards came from him ad libbing, finding people downfield. Most of Farouk's passing yards came on reverses. It wasn't like he was, you know what I mean? It wasn't like they were just getting us downfield. They did, but it wasn't bad. You know what I mean? It wasn't. At no point in time was I frustrated in the game.
Well,
It
here's the
wasn't
thing.
unfixable things. I'm like, this is a
No,
sideline conversation that can fix this.
but how football's never going to be clean
I agree.
ever. Even if
I
you're
agree.
really, really good, it's
Mhm.
never going to be clean. There's things you're going to have to adjust. There's somebody's just going to come out and have a bad rep right off for no explainable reason, right? However, when you notice the same trends over and I can't get off of this because I really thought, and I think I gave Texas too much credit that they were going to flip the switch and be clean in those
Yeah.
areas.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to come out, hey, we're not going to have any pre-snap mess today. Okay. Okay, you know what? Today we're not going to if we call the screen, if the screen's not working, we're going to adjust and say, you know what? Like we did with the Kansas game. We realized Kobe Bryant and then we're playing the screens well. All right, Jonathan Brooks, it's time for you to eat. We're going to keep going straight ahead. Like just understanding situationally, staying ahead of things. The screen that we run to Brooks, that we normally where Quinn turns his back like this and then looks
It was a
back.
wrap. They was there. They was
They
chilling.
were ready for that, right?
Quinn didn't know what to do when it wasn't open. He's like, oh crap,
They
where I go?
were all over that
Yeah,
screen. We
they
run
played that
that
real good.
play.
That dude was
They
chilling right there. He was waiting.
So my thing is too, it's like, all right, well, in the red zone, to counter that, Bug kind of knew, hey, DG likes to look kind of like deeper when he starts leaving the pocket,
Mhm.
and he baited him.
You got to catch that.
Finish the play.
You got to catch
You
that.
did the hardest part.
Gotta catch
The
it.
hardest part is baiting the guy
Yeah,
to get him to throw it there, right?
you threw it.
And then so it's like those things where it's like they got rewarded when they had their film study type plays.
Mhm.
And I felt like when we had our film study type moments, because we were prepped too,
Yep,
we
we
you
didn't
know
make
we
them.
we,
We
we
didn't
didn't
make
make
them.
them.
We didn't make them. Man, we can. I don't know, man. I don't feel like if we would have lost and it's frustrating and you don't see how we lose and they were just like nickel and diming us down the field kind of thing. I didn't feel like that was happening. I feel like we did a lot of dumb stuff. We did a lot of stupid stuff, bro. And I don't know. We just need to put four quarters together and see what it looked like.
First inning truth, thank you for the donation. Good game to OU. I doubt we give them 3 turnovers from the championship game. Love you, Steven and Trey. Appreciate it. FT, I'm not worried about the championship game right now. This is just my energy. Y'all can agree or dis. I know there's some Texas fans that are still,
That's how they're coping. That's how
right.
you cope.
I know, but that's what we do every single time. And honestly, this stuff that I bring up and Tran has brought up, where it sounds like we're bitching and we're being too. People were like, "You guys are being too harsh on them." They just won. They beat Wyoming 31-10. Why are you guys spending so much time nitpicking these things, right? And all the things we nitpicked over the 4 weeks,
Showed up today.
all of them reared their
All
head
showed up.
today.
They
All of them did.
I
So
was
I'm right now. I'm like, look, can we now that we've taken an L and with against the last person you want to take an L against, Can we now say, you know what, y'all, and captains, we gotta be accountable for this. AD, I love you. You're the boundary receiver we always needed for Xavier. I love what Xavier did today in the RPO slot game. We really haven't used Worthy like that a whole lot in his
No,
career. RPO slant, RPO slant, RPO slant.
he's a
We
wrap.
banged that all second half. There's a
Yep.
reason why Quinn had 22 straight completions.
Yeah,
Okay,
19.
there's good, right? But with that being said, hey, can we make sure we're on side when before we snap the ball? Right? Like
AD,
little
man.
like just like that's it's the focus
That
things.
boy. That boy. Man, I don't know if you know, but Jordan had over 100 yards.
I did say so. That was maybe what was one thing I was right about when I got asked who are my unsung
Jordan
players.
went off for
I said Jordan
115.
Whittington and Michael Taffy, and Michael Taff and Jordan Whittington made he played his butt off. He's always played well in these games.
Yeah. Yep.
Even before he hurt his clavicle in 2021, he was balling in that game. Brian, I want to address this comment here in Hank's comment earlier, but this one, okay, a couple things. Whether or not I did, it doesn't matter. I'm not in the locker room. I created what monster? We're fans. We talk trash. In this rivalry, there's a reason why there were hundred something thousand people in the Cotton Bowl split at the 50-yard line that paid buku money for ticket. You don't think everybody was talking trash? At the end of the day, it is I don't the players can't buy into that. That's not my job. I'm not in the locker. I'm not a coach. I'm a fan. And we're gonna I talk trash within reason. I never said that you couldn't was incapable of winning this game, that they weren't good. I said I had questions, and we'll talk trash just like y'all talk trash against us last year, right? And there's never going to be a game where we're I'm going to feel as though Texas is not capable of winning, especially against OU. And if we have a rematch, I'm going to feel the same way. There's nothing I saw today other than just giving respect to OU and saying they're one of the best teams in the country, especially when you watch all the teams in the country. These are two of the better teams in the country, period. Okay? Especially the way that they played at the line of scrimmage, the physicality. BV's a good coach. I'm saying it. He's a good coach. He outcoached Sark situationally several times. He got his kids amped up. Anytime you get your kids to respond like that on the 1 yard line, there's so many coaches that could not get their kids to respond like that at the 1 yard line, regardless of how dumb we were acting. So I'm not saying that, but at the end of the day, OU kids aren't putting on fanatic perspective in the locker room and saying that's why we, that was the edge we needed, blah, blah, blah. Like the edge they needed was the 49-0 ass whooping they got last year. That was the edge they needed.
Man, I would say I was listening to one of the paid sites before coming on here, and I guess the dude was in the stands, and he said there was people like some of the Texas folks, like the first drive they knew every play when it was coming, like what it looked like, and he was like, Sark is so predictable at times, it's ridiculous.
Alex Ortega, y'all talking like Sark had a bad coaching game. Sure, he made some mistakes in the second
No, he was
half.
good. He was good.
Sark. Look, here's the thing. Just because I said he got outcoached by BV doesn't mean that I'm saying he's a bad coach.
No, he was good.
Okay. Yeah, it's like, oh, I got outboxed. But if it's Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao, two Hall of Famers, right? Like, and I say I got outboxed, like we're talking about best on best, right? That's so. Don't take me saying he got outcoached and say he's a bad coach. He did a lot of good stuff. Where we're talking about though, and most of the things that Quentin has been highlighting, as well as myself, are situational things. They're situational things. They're not, for example, opening the game is situational. BB said one of the most important elements or is the first 4 minutes of start, right? Tran has talked about this every week that he's been on here. And Tran's at his kid's birthday party. That's why he's not on today, y'all. But we come out and run bubble to Worthy, first play of the game, correct? So now that is now 5 of 6 games that we have opened with bubble. too worthy. What is that? The only game we didn't do it was Kansas. We ran the ball. Our first play was a running play to Jonathan Brooks. And what's interesting is in the Rice game, maybe the Wyoming game, I'm not sure. Bama game and today, after bubble, we go to empty set, our second play. That's me and you and Tran and us as fans noticing that. You don't think OU noticed this? That get paid millions of dollars to
And he
study these
hasn't
guys?
he hasn't pumped the
That's what I'm
bubble
talking about.
either. Like the pump and Blake like fake the block and go. I've been waiting on that all year. He ain't did it. He ain't did it, man. It's what's his obsession with Baxter, man? JB was the move, and I'm like, why you keep putting Baxter in the game, bro? You make him some promises in recruiting or what? Dude, he loves that guy. Like, even in his press conference when we're talking about JB, he always goes back to Baxter and like, but Baxter, man, he's coming along. That boy was what was he, 11 for like 17 for like 40? It was something stupid.
Yeah, he was 7 for 18. Look, I'm gonna be fair. I'm gonna be fair to JB from the standpoint of he is playing injured. It's very obvious he's not 100%. However, it's not in the best interest of the team. We have to think team first. What is best for the team? And or not JB, CB. I said JB is our JB was probably our offensive MVP today. So in the case of Jonathan Brooks, he needs to be spelled. He can't be in there every play. He's not that. I mean, that's fine. I would have liked to see Jaden Blue at some point. And I think it's a difficult conversation because Jaden Blue's skill set is the only reason why I'm saying this in certain plays, not on third down. Third down, if you want to go Savion Red, clearly you trust Savion Red because he's handling the ball in a whole package where he's making decisions on give, throw, everything. So if you're trusting him that much, you might as well trust him go all the way with it.
Yep, I agree.
Let me address this super chat real quick. How is it that I knew DG could make a defensive play with his legs, but somehow PK didn't seem to know that? I mean, his defense allowed quarterbacks to run over 100 yards on his. Well, we whiffed on that 44-yard run.
That was half of it.
That was half of it. I don't think we had a great plan for their short yardage run game, though. To the point of this one, I didn't like how we played it. There were times where Derek Williams played it well a couple times where he had to come down as the fill guy. Derek Williams is just a freaking football player.
He played well.
His run fits were fine. Anthony Hill, when he had to come down, was good. Then you got situations where Dylan Gabriel's running away from some of those guys on Texas.
Man, Thompson is so slow, bro. Every time I see a touchdown, I see number 28 in the frame. Every time this year, he's trailing the play. He just out. It's frustrating. But he's so smart. You can't take him off the field.
Alex Ortega, if I'm PK, Derek Williams is with my ones when we come back from the bye. After they have their week off and everybody goes and clears their head or goes to be with their family or their girlfriends or gets their treatment, when we come back to practice in a week, Derek Williams is with my ones.
Is it him and Catalan or him and Thompson?
I'm worried about Catalan, though, because
what you think was?
his was it his shoulder again?
No, it looked like some leg. Yeah, he kind of did. Yeah. I thought it was some leg something.
I think it was, I don't know.
It was nonsense because he shouldn't even been there. The dude was already on the ground. He kind of piled on top.
But this is the thing, though, and this is the thing that the NFL said. He's too aggressive to the point where he doesn't protect his body.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you have so many injuries.
Yeah.
Because you're literally diving. The play is over. He's so aggressive. He's
over on the top and got hurt.
You have to protect your body.
Yeah, I agree.
You have to protect your body. Hey, man, I appreciate the super chat. I'm just saying, I think for some fans, in my opinion, it is a coat because automatically whoever lost this game, you're going to say Arlington. Period. You're gonna say if OU didn't score, if they turned the ball over and we ended up winning the game 30-27, they would have said, "All right, we saw what we needed to see. We'll see you in Arlington." My thing is, I don't want them. We're not good at focusing on long term goals at Texas as a program. We haven't been. We need to keep these dudes locked. It needs to be a week to week. You got to show me with these dudes until they earn the benefit of the doubt, in my opinion. And to me, they need to get healthy, get some people back from the bye, and go whoop Houston's ass. Because we're saying all of this now. I was so confident in 2021 at that time, the way we came out and played. And then stuff fell apart. And I know this team's better than that team. I'm not. But my point is, we have seen stuff happen. We lost Jake Majors today. And I know he's not the greatest center in the world. And I don't know what the long term thing is with him. But they're gonna have to figure out, is Connor Robertson gonna continue to be your guy? Do you move Hayden Connor there and bring in Neto to play guard, which I was thinking about? Like, they're gonna have to figure that out. These are real things. So nothing is guaranteed that we're just gonna, charge back up. And oh, by the way, I'm gonna say this, and then I want to bring up the stat sheet, Quinn, so we can look at the actual stats. If you play like this in Arlington, you will lose again, Texas. You can't play like this. You can't play like this. Like, if you have to come out and match them and exceed their intensity. And stop beating yourself with so many of the dumb stuff that we see all the time. Anyway, let me pull up the stats. Two.
Quinn was on what said he was 31, 37 passing, 346 yards. Man, that when Savion threw that pass, I took a deep breath. I said that ball was kind of janky. Like, it wasn't even natural.
Hey, he got it there. But the thing is with him, I at least like guys in those moments that are former quarterbacks or have played in those type of systems that just understand, like on pop pass, just put it in his chest, right?
Yep.
And keep going. And like even I've said this before too. In my opinion, I think we're at our best out of 12 personnel for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Gunnar Helm and the tight ends were fine. Like, they had a good day today.
Yeah, that second
Especially
interception, JT should have squeezed that one.
the pick.
Yeah, he should have squeezed that bad boy. That sucker was right there.
Let me say this though. He should have. If you're JT, you say, hey, regardless of my injury situation, I'm a great athlete. I come down with those, and I got to protect my quarterback, right?
Yep.
I got to, because everybody knows incompletion in that ball pops up. That's a turnover, right?
Yep.
That's number one. Number two, I've always been taught when throwing down the seam to a tight end, if a safety is right there, back shoulder it, or you got to be early.
There was a dude on his back shoulder.
So if not, then Quinn has to throw that ball earlier.
Yeah.
Than when he did, right? And he has to, like, literally, if you don't go back shoulder, then you have to literally put it on him and walk it into his chest. Like, it can't. It's such a small.
He hung him out
window.
The drive.
What'd you say?
I said he hung him out the drive for sure.
Because he still got blown up regardless.
Yeah, you just got to catch.
So but that also goes down with, what a coach is going to say. Well, shit, in that case, you might as well catch it because you're going to get blown up either way.
Yep.
So,
yep.
The way he threw it. No, I don't care what Houston looks like, because Texas needs to start getting in the habit of playing good football, regardless. Like OU, for example, we can get on them about their schedule and all that, but they were executing. And one of the things I noticed that Dillon Gabriel said that really stuck out to me after the game was, our last drive, every Wednesday, that's what we do. And we make sure we don't mess that drive up. They practice that, right?
Yeah.
And then in the games that we saw, whether it's against Air, right? Like some of the penalties we see on offense, are happening. It doesn't even matter if anybody's in front of us. It's like y'all get penalized against air for that. That's what we're saying because it's a habit. You've created the habit. So we have to create a habit of executing, regardless of who. I'm tired of hearing the excuses of, oh, well, we were chilling today,
Yeah, I
blah,
agree.
blah, blah. Because people are trying, I mean, not everybody has the ammunition like OU to beat you. They don't. But that's not the point. If you're trying to win a playoff game, how frustrated would you be, Quentin, if we were in a playoff game and they came out with that same level of
Same thing. Same thing. I think
right?
JB, one of the comments, he brings up a good point. He said Quinn need to slide.
Yeah.
Buddy be going head first, don't matter how many defenders is around. He going head first.
Yeah.
I think I seen him slide once this year, bro.
He's he started feeling himself a little bit
What you call
about
it? Called him out on it. One of his teammates, they had an interview. They said he Vince Young, but he ain't got Vince Young's speed.
yeah.
They called him
It's
out.
like, just being mindful of it, right? I will say this though. I left this game feeling encouraged with Quinn
I agree.
overall for the rest of the season. I mean, he still led a drive that got us points at the end of the game. He led us on a 95-yard drive to get points. We were down 10. He led us to, we didn't just come back, we took the lead. 22 straight completions. If you don't like Quinn, there's factions in our fan base too. We were talking about
Yeah, I agree.
OU having factions of Jackson Arnold
Arnold.
people and all that type of stuff. Dylan Gabriel put that to bed today because now you can't say anything. And whether you like Dylan Gabriel or not, he's now front and center for the Heisman. There's no questions, right? With Quinn, there's still people that want to see Arch. There's people that want to see that think Malik could run this offense better than Quinn. My whole thing is we are in too deep right now. Quinn is our guy. Unless he gets hurt or something happens, Quinn is our guy. We cannot say, oh, you know what? He's starting off slow. Let's put Malik in the game, who's gotten almost no work, right? Like, just he may be more talented. I'm not saying Malik's not more talented or Arch can't run the system better, but we are so far into Quinn's development that now he has a slow start, not even a slow start, a horrendous start to this game. But we also, those same people won't give him the credit for saying, you know what, he put that shit behind him, he rebounded and played good ball and put us in a position to win the rest of the game because of favoritism. And to me, that's just like lame versus understanding is sports, is adversity. You're going to go through stuff. We've seen Texas teams that just quit when hard stuff starts happening.
Yep.
These dudes aren't quitting. They had 527 yards today, and they look like they couldn't move the ball for half the game.
Yep. All after halftime, like all the rest of our 5 games, it looked exactly the same. Nothing different. After halftime, we looked like world beaters. Before half, we couldn't do nothing. And it's just so weird. That's like the stark opposite of what we were last year. Last year, we get up 2 scores and couldn't hang on. Like, dude, mind that out. You hired those consultants for a reason, bro.
Ooh. Mine it out. No, you're right. You're right.
Like, there has to be a happy medium between the two. It's literally we went from one end to the other.
I do agree it's the best rivalry in college football right now. I agree with that. Oh no, this is what I wanted to kind of go over through though. If we look at the team stats, yet again on third down, we're hovering around 33%. Now we held them to around the same number, right? But we talked about 18 out of 20 times the team that's run for the most yards in this game has won the game. Well, when you give it up to Dylan Gabriel,
yep,
there's your yards. I actually thought Walker had some good tough runs. He was breaking tackles, and we got to clean up our tackling, which was weird. but he was running tough. Marcus Major ran exactly how I thought Marcus Major was going to run.
Did you see?
But
Did you see that? Anthony picked dude up and body slammed him. I said, that's a big
yeah, he
boy.
was right as a fresh dude.
That's a big dude. He said, "God, dog."
Oh, my bad, Jacob. I'm sorry. He said, "Man, I can't get my chats read. I'm giving you my." I apologize. Jacob said, "Most encouraged you can feel in a loss, in my opinion. They emptied the entire take on us. We still almost won. Like, where can we go potentially?" I think that's great in terms of, again, if we get to that point and we play OU again, there's a lot that they had to show. There's a lot of meat on the bone that we can take away, learn from, and say, "Hey, we'll have that buttoned up in Arlington. They won't get away with that again." I agree there. However, with that being said, there's too much that Texas has to clean up their own selves, regardless of opponent, and the play calling and play design. There are things that we just don't do in the red zone that I don't understand. I don't understand why we don't use our size in the red zone
We tried.
vertically.
We tried. It didn't work.
Well, we threw a seam, but we threw a seam to Jatavian. I'm talking about like on the like, let's say a fade to the boundary, right?
Yep.
Or something, some sort of action.
Give
I mean,
AD.
last year we ran the those routes. What's the name of the route? I can't even think right now. But the route that Worthy would zag inside, slant,
It's
and
not
then
pin, no, it's not a pin route.
but
Um,
you know exactly what I'm talking about. He scored on it with Iowa State. Multiple times where we were able to get separation in the area or draw up some type of concept to have a beater to to win those things. We haven't seen any of that all year where we're having easy touchdowns and getting separation down there. That's why I'm saying it's a play design issue as well when we're throwing. And then running wise, I think we kind of see, what it is, what it is.
man, both those running plays, Sweat jumped. He false started both times he was in the game. I don't know if you watched it. He was moving before the snap both times. I'm like, buddy, about to get us a penalty. But you know what I never like. What I rarely see Quinn do, the 3-step drop and just fling a slant. You know what I mean, for a first down type of thing. And I don't like Quinn has a talented arm, but it's not strong. Does that make sense? It's not
I,
like I went to school. I played football with Brandon Wheaton, Oklahoma State's
okay.
quarterback. I played,
Hmm.
and that dude had a cannon. He just back up, and Quinn don't have that. It's this little finesse sidearm. He has a nice arm, and it's fine. I'm no problem with it. But man, just when you need 3 yards on a 3rd and 3, just throw a slant and get out of there. You know what I mean? Because they manning up because they packing the box. We'll never do it.
I agree with this too. OU should get better as the season goes along, and there's things they have to clean up. There are execution issues
Yeah.
on both sides. I agree with that. I don't know. I will say though, in terms of the intensity and just overall executing what you normally do, OU had up until this game. If we forget the opponents, they've been executing better than Texas in terms of not getting in their way.
Yep.
And so what I'm saying though is that if Texas is somehow able to clean those things up with how well OU executes to still have this type of margin. I mean, Texas almost stole this game.
It
They
would have
were
been
they
a
were
deep
stealing
breath.
this game.
You know, we would. It would have been the same conversation with a win.
And that's the truth. It really would have been the same. I would have been much happier, but it would have been the same conversation and a win. I agree with that. Our edge guys. So OU got, and we got to look at the tape on how these sacks came about, right? I think they had 4 sacks today.
I think they were just
Or
pushing the pocket, man. But you can't be surprised. What Rice sacked us that 3 times. You can't be that surprised. Quinn gets sacked a lot by everybody by Alabama.
I how do we fix our pressure issues though, or is it just is what it is with our guys?
I think when Quinn gets, I think it's I think
No,
most of the
no,
things
I'm
that
talking
go.
about our defense. Our defense. I'm talking about.
today,
Burke,
I just think we were
Sorrell, Jet Bush.
what the reason OU doesn't. I don't say I'm gonna get killed in the chat, but I don't think OU has a good offense. We were just tired. The thing about OU's offense that got us wasn't the scheme; it was that we were freaking tired. Dude, we usually sub way more than that, and I just look at them dudes were tired as heck today, and that pace it got to us. It's good, but it got to us. But
Uh,
I think them not letting us sub was probably it was huge. You had big 300-pound dudes in there sucking wind, 4 and 5 plays in a row. That ain't
well,
that
the,
ain't that ain't normal.
well, here's the thing though, with defensive line play, especially those big guys, the way we play and
Hmm.
how good we know he can be. OU had to get those first downs to get into their tempo for us to start sucking wind like that. They
Yep,
become immediately more effective. The
I agree.
scramble that Dylan Gabriel had, I thought Ethan Burke was going to pass out. One of those runs down there where where Bug got called. They called Bug for a 15-yard for unnecessary roughness hit. I think it was
Yeah.
that play. But if you
Yep.
look at that play, Ethan Burke and it was another defensive lineman. They literally were just you could tell they were all gassed, right? The thing is, Texas, everybody knows what it is coming into the game with a Van shoot. There's no mystery in terms of that's the whole reason why we run this offense is to make your defense and those guys tap and eventually make mistakes. Eventually, I have stuff that is wide open, right? I just feel as though if you're PK in this Texas defense, when you see this offense again, you have to be more aggressive early downs.
Got to.
I'm sorry. I'd rather you throw the ball over my head and try to do that, but you're throwing the ball over my head, and I'm trying to jump curls and get pressure. We get like we're concede the bend don't break philosophy to me is not a good philosophy to mix against this style of offense.
I agree.
That it's not the right philosophy. You have to be aggressive on early downs. You have to send heat, and you have to play cover. You have to play tight coverage on the outsides because they're literally just they know that everyone's thinking, oh, they're going to take a shot. They're going to take a shot. They're going to take a shot. Oh,
And
you
that
took no more shots than we did.
nope.
They
And
really didn't.
if we would have played the defense that we played a spy on Alabama and we played it on Kansas. Of course, we didn't think Dylan was that kind of athletic to do it, but when we played it, when we had a spy, we was good. But man, it was man. There's Jalen just had a bad game. If Jalen's Jalen, we would have been all right.
Yeah, and that's why those are things where I'm like, all right, he can, I know he's going to come out and be a badass for the season. I'm not worried about him long term or anything like that. But yeah, it needs to be stated. Hank, you must be trolling, man, because I have not been making excuses, man. I was wrong. Y'all were right. Y'all won. Good game. Whatever receipts you want to pull. I'm a Texas fan, bro. I'm gonna keep talking my ish the next time we play. That's what the rivalry is about. But to say I don't know where I've been making excuses. But I think you're one of those OU fan, or just not, I'm not even gonna say OU fans. I think you're one of those college football fans that is my team is the best team and everybody else sucks, and I have no understanding of actual football. So that's the last I will talk with Hank.
I
I'm gonna
went.
go
I
for a
went.
few more, about 7 more minutes here, Quentin, and then I gotta jump.
Okay,
Um,
that Bama game's getting close.
what's the score on that one?
2 minutes left. 26-20. Bama.
Uh oh.
Hmm. They got the ball though.
Oklahoma Sooners football said, "Enjoy your loss." No, we won't. Good game to you guys. No, we won't. I'm serious though. Colin Simmons can't get here soon enough. I think elite edge play solves a lot of those problems, man. I'm sorry. Because the thing is, you have to have a plan for people like that. And when you have those guys, just same way we saw with Anthony Hill at one level and Derek Williams at the next level. Like sometimes it is a talent thing.
Yo,
And so if I have Colin Simmons there, at least it's like, all right, bro, you're not just gonna be. back here running all over the place. And that's why Texas is trying to get that edge talent.
Dudes.
This is why we focus so hard on that position in particular, right?
They're a non-factor. They haven't been a factor since Bama. Like I was when I saw the way we played Bama, I was like, man, it was a concern, and then it wasn't. But now it's definitely an issue because Sorrell and Burke they just on the field standing up. You know what I mean? They ain't really doing nothing as far as the pass
100
rush is
yard
concerned.
100 yard podcast said Texas played C-minus game today. OU played their A game. Hats off to OU, but Texas lost this game. To be honest, 3 turnovers, a drop pick, all led to OU points. I agree. We did not play. I don't know what grade I'm willing to give our team this game, but in this rivalry, knowing how bad I want to win this game every time,
Got to come with it.
you got to come with it, and that's OU. So if OU came with it, they were the better squad today. Period. Because that's what it's about. It's not about. I'm not trying to hear the too cool for school excuse. We weren't even turning up like y'all were turning up, bro. I'm here to win, bro. I'm not trying to hear the whole like, oh man, I mean, we were saving our plays or we were saving this for this opponent. That's why we didn't that's why we couldn't get 4th and 2 against Wyoming. Meanwhile, it's like, is that the truth or is that an issue that we need to fix? Is that you guys holding back competitively, or is it that you're trying to cover up something because you know it's a problem? And be
My,
honest with yourself. Because you
my,
can't solve a problem until you're honest with yourself that there's a problem. Until you acknowledge that there's a problem, you're just gonna, when people bring it up, you're gonna be like, well, we won. We were dominant. Who cares? We beat Bama. Right? I dismissed a lot of things because of Bama. And I should have dig deeper and said, you know what, Quentin? I also said after the Bama game that they still didn't play A plus ball.
yep. Yeah, you're
And
right.
there were certain things I saw, but I'm like, look, y'all are so talented, y'all play with a lot of heart and mental toughness that you were able to overcome those things. But it's now week 6. We're going to week 7. We'll play again in week 8. It's still not cleaned up.
I mean, they gotta buy. It's fiscal. It's fixable during the buy. Like communication is like a big thing. Like that last
Yes,
touchdown
you
passes,
can fix that
everyone
in
knew
commu-
that dude was getting the ball, but the dude who gave up the touchdown, everyone was like, "Move, move, move," and he didn't move. And Bender was lost. That was Bender's fault. But yeah, even the O line communication is why we giving up sacks, and the back end is why we giving up long plays. Or man, communication is a big thing.
We talk about communication every week on this, good and bad,
Yep.
because it's one of the biggest things to playing good defense. And one of the things, I'll be honest with you, OU, those kids talk. If you look at OU defensively, they are constantly in communication. All 3 levels, they're constantly making sure, hey, if it's a 2-on-1, you got inside, I got outside, right? And just making sure, like, hey, you seeing what I'm seeing? Hey, stack, how we playing? Boom, boom, boom. We're talking through the scenario, which is how you're being coached too, right? But Texas, not to say that Texas doesn't, but there's still a ways to go
I agree.
to
Man,
to even get sharper.
I heard a weird thing from the commentator. He said that Quinn sees a doctor because of his fear of failure. Did you hear that?
I did not hear that.
Yeah, he said he like talks to a doctor or something, and it makes sense because until Quinn at the beginning of the game he sucks, but one good ball is a wrap. Have you noticed that?
Oh well, yeah. I mean, he starts to he kind of gets out of it. I thought he was rattled
Yeah,
early
I
in the
agree.
game.
Yeah, no doubt.
I really thought he was rattled. I'm I'm impressed that he played as well as he did
Going, yep.
after playing as bad as he did. And honestly, I saw him do some things today where I'm like, oh wow, like I saw him actually run, 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 and
Yeah.
throw the ball and
Look
hit
good.
somebody accurately a
He looked
couple
good.
times. But I'm also like, with this whole with hey, Quinn, Sark can't hold your hand every offensive
Play.
series either.
Yep.
People aren't always going to be open. I will say this, and I know OU fans are going to say, "Hey, we lost Gentry Williams, we lost some guys too, so that's why some of the things open up on the back end." I will say this: OU's initial plan for our scheme, our pass scheme, they were on point.
Yep.
Primary was covered every single time. However, and I texted my buddies this, and they can attest to this. When I was texting in the game, I was like, "Sark's going to come up with a beater or a concept to defeat all this." But typically, it takes you as a coach. It's
Half.
going to take you at least a quarter or a half to get to the beater,
Yep.
right? It's not something. This is what fans have to understand. It's not something like he's going to be able to adjust in between a
Between possessions.
possession. He has to see. He has to see a lot of data and really crunch and say, you know what, the way they're talking. There it is. And what it was for us was RPO.
Yeah. Dude, we started
That's
hitting
what
them.
activated everything.
Yep. I agree.
That's why Jordan Whittington had 100 and
13.
100 115 yards. He
Yep.
had 10 catches on 10 targets today.
But the RPO
Xavier
didn't start
Worthy,
working until we started gashing them with the run, though. So it kind of
exactly. So it's a balance, but that's where that's what opened up everything else.
yep.
And then Xavier Worthy, we talked about this earlier, Clint. We've never really used him as that RPO slant guy.
Nope.
That's adjustments because that's not a plan,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Sark went to that late in the game, and it was there. So
The
nobody.
the position that was ineffective was the outside. What we wasn't getting nothing on the outside. It was all slot.
Good point.
We would AD didn't
Good
do
point.
nothing. He didn't do anything. He didn't block.
Well,
He didn't catch.
hey, you being hard on
No,
AD,
I'm
brother?
just
I mean,
saying, man,
you
that
being
dude is
hard.
so good, but his effort is piss poor from game to game. He had a good game, Bama and Kansas, man, but like the little stuff, like our receivers block, bro. Jordan blocks, Xavier block. This dude don't. JT and AD don't block.
So JT's inconsistent.
Agreed.
JT's inconsistent with his blocking. AD, here's my issue though. How many plays, how much evidence do we need to gather over 5 games for, as a play caller and as a
Get him out.
structure, I'm not running that play with him in that scenario.
Get him out.
Because at some point it's like, dude, that's not now you're just setting yourself up for failure. I actually laughed when I saw them run the bubble to Whittington with 80 as the blocker, and I'm like, this needs to be reversed, but they're stubborn and they don't want to flip it, and they haven't flipped it.
I think
They've been stubborn about that.
one of Sark's biggest tendencies when he puts Baxter in the game, he's getting the ball. He ain't blocking.
That is
He's
true.
handing that bad boy off, and that's the end of it. Every
Or
single
or
time.
they'll flex Baxter and empty and then throw a screen. They
I
will do
think
that.
the worst thing I saw, and it came to fruition when Jordan got tackled on the one. I said, "We're not scoring." That was the worst thing that could have happened, bro. Was him get tackled on the 1 yard line, and we didn't score.
Yeah, I don't know what I heard about Quinn. I mean Quinn was talking about what all I'm saying. Oh, it's it's healthy to be seeing people. I would hope a lot of these young athletes are talking through things, and working their mental out. I think I actually, based on today's game, my impression is that Quinn's mental is actually very good overall, considering the circumstances. But I don't think it's a problem to say, with all the pressure and things going on, it's always good for folks to talk.
Dude, when I heard that,
Uh,
I got sad. I was like, "He do what?" It made sense when they said it, but I kind of got sad when I heard that, bro.
all right, man. What are your parting thoughts, Quinn? I appreciate you coming on, man.
No problem,
And
man.
and and
I'm hopeful.
and plug. And when you're done, plug whatever you want to plug as
I don't
well.
have nothing. It's a totally different space that I'm in. My stuff. um, I'm hopeful. OU balled out. We need to fix up the messiness. We need to come together in this bye week and just get it together. But OU did their thing. They did their thing. If all goes as planned, we'll see what goes on. We'll see.
Yeah, credit to the victors. Simple as that, right? No, I'm not here to make excuses. I'm going to watch this game again. I want to learn from it. I don't think we should have any type of defeatist mindset. As critical as we're being right now, I think we're both still high on this team overall.
Yeah,
And when I say high on this team, I know what they're capable of. I think they can beat anybody in the country. I think that we have the right coaches, but they have to improve just like the players have to improve. They got to learn from themselves, and learning from yourself starts with honesty when you do your self audit. Are we putting our players in the best position to win? Are these personnel groupings the right personnel groupings? Are we playing favoritism with certain players versus other players that need to be performing? Every position coach during this time needs to be honest, because until you have that moment of truth, you can't move forward. And we will continue to see the inconsistent, Texas is going to beat people, but it's going to be a little sloppy and we're going to pull away at the end because we're bigger, faster, stronger. But when you go up against real opponents like this today, you can get beat
agreed.
when you really shouldn't, in my opinion. So hopefully we find that honesty in the buy. My thought, this again, these are this is why we do these shows: emotional, immediate fan reaction in the real time with you guys here. Hopefully, I helped you guys think through some things. Hopefully, we all get through it together. Right now, I'm focused on this bye week. If you want to talk about that's on you. But for me, that's I'm looking at just how do we clean some of these things up. I will be thrilled if they come out in Houston
And just slaughter them from the
and they
jump.
slaughter, and it's like, all right, we're now focused on us.
Yep.
It's no more too cool for school. It's no more I'm going to hold back because of the opponent, because you are in the mindset of we are creating a habit. No matter what, no matter who it is, we're creating a habit of we going to score. We're going to create a habit of we're going to score in the red zone. And I can't wait for Kyle Flood. I wish I could be in the room, in the offensive line room, when he goes over the first and goal from the one
You
and
couldn't
what
get
happened after that.
you couldn't get in. Yep.
Tope's going to be on later this week. We're actually going to talk about a lot of these things. We're going to get some really good insight from Tope this week, so you guys stay tuned for that, as well as just some other bye week analysis and whatnot. But we're going to talk a lot about that and the mentality there, and where they can either come together and say that will never ever happen again on our watch. We don't care who we're playing, or if it's more of the same. Y'all hit that like button, subscribe, the whole bit. Quentin, thank you again. Love you guys. Horns always up. Hook 'em.